To get to Loutet Farm, I had to take the ferry from Vancouver to North Vancouver, but it was worth it. Loutet Farm is a really inspiring project, not only because it's doing great work, but because it's done such great work so quickly. It's only been around for 6 months, and I found that pretty incredible.
This is Loutet Farm, and it is, I think, unique in that 6 months ago it was essentially a gravel field. There was nothing here. This is municipal parkland, so it's the city of North Vancouver owns the land, and it's the same park as what you see next door, which is basically playing fields. And this little end was a very underutilized, scrubby piece of the park. They couldn't really mow it. It was largely fill from highway construction, which is just on the other side of the trees. So it's kind of gravelly, not really much would grow. People essentially would drive up and do donuts and then leave. And it wasn't really a place that was being well used by the community. So a lot of the things that we've got on the farm have just happened from people walking by. This is a dog walking route. Everybody walks their dogs through here, and people, will come up and say, "Oh, I install irrigation," and then here we go. We've got our beautiful irrigation. We've had graphic designers who are ready to help out with putting together signage and all of that kind of stuff, and all sorts of people just sort of coming out of the woodwork and wanting to. Yeah, it's been amazing that I was just looking at the numbers the other day, and we coordinate really regular volunteer days where people in the neighborhood can come out and get their hands dirty and help out on the farm, and we've had over 700 hours of volunteer time, over 100 people participating. In addition, there's an elementary school right next door, Brooksbank Elementary, so we're working with 4 different classes there, and we can bring those kids out into the farm. They had a school barbecue the other day, and the kids were able to come and harvest the salad that was being served at the barbecue. So all sorts of connections like that. We've had municipal staff who are cutting the lawn over there, involved in bringing materials over. We've had, the different kinds of interactions have been amazing, and huge enthusiasm and volunteer time. Lots of corporate support, and we are able to, now that we have enough space, it's really easy for us to take 30 staff from wherever, put them to work for half a day or a day, and they get something out of it, we get something out of it. So it's kind of like there's no real awareness of how food is produced and where it's produced. There's no real connection with what people are eating and where it's being grown and where it's coming from and how far it's traveling to get here. And there's a lot more instability in the food system than most people realize. And this is a really great space to start having that discussion with people. So you can start thinking about, what is seasonal. They can see what's growing when they're walking the dog. They can start to recognize the different kinds of plants that they might never have known what they look like in the ground before. And particularly with the kids, we often start off just with a really simple sort of food scavenger hunt, and it's like, can you identify the carrots? And most of them can't, even though they're right there. So those sorts of conversations are really an important part of this project. I hold no illusions that this farm is going to feed the North Shore, if anything were to happen. But because of the nature of the community, there's there's a lot of single-family homes with huge backyards, and very few people with the skills to start to grow any of their own food. So the more people that we can engage in this project, give some really basic skills about how to grow food on their own, who then are planting things in their own backyard, that's what's really going to start to contribute to the community's capacity to produce food. If you had every house that's around the corner here producing some of their own food, that would make a huge difference. So I think one of the most important parts of this project is that the political appetite was there. We're on municipal land, so we're working with mayor and council, and the receptivity to this kind of project and the enthusiasm around this kind of project is there. They want to see these things happen. They're willing to kind of go out on a limb and be creative about how you can make that kind of thing happen, and I think that's really huge. I think having the partnerships that we've had with the University of British Columbia, Eco-Urbia, different organizations in the community, we've been able to really leverage all the connections that we have and cooperate in order to make it happen. So, working together, kind of being able to pull together the funding that we needed to get off the ground, and I think having that sort of nonprofit participation for this project specifically was really helpful, and really helped to speed things up. Now, all right. So Is it a fad? I think that the food movement has the staying power. It connects with enough issues. Whether you look at it from a sustainability perspective and you're concerned about the environment and climate change, it connects there. Whether you're worried about community development, you look at the projects and the people that we've been able to bring together and the relationships we've been able to build, so it sort of meets that community development side of things. Whether you're talking about the health, you can come at it from a health perspective, so you're looking at whether it's preventative kind of approaches to healthcare. All of those things connect in with food, and you can look at it from all of those different perspectives. So I think that's something that gives the whole food movement a bit of staying power, and I think we'll see it around for a long time. I also think that because it's really easy to have food projects that are a lot of fun, that feel really good, that aren't doom and gloom about how the world's going to end and everything's going to, totally fall apart. You're able to engage with people in a way that doesn't terrify them, that's not, horribly disheartening, and you're going to go home and sit in a dark room and never want to come out because you can never fix all the problems of the world. It's a really easy way to engage with a lot of different issues in a way that's not intimidating, it's not alienating, and it's fun. So I think all of those things together give these kinds of projects the legs that they need to stay around for a long time. And where will we be in the next